Follow what I'm saying. We have a twin turbo 2.7 liter Ford Fusion, right? Ford no longer makes sedans, but this is probably one of their most underrated sleepers outside of the Ford Taurus and the Ford Taurus show. This thing makes 325 horsepower, has adaptive suspension and everything. But then I started thinking, I'm like the 90s all the way to like the early 2000s, everything either had a V6 or a turbo V6. Let's go back to the Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4. This thing was an all-wheel drive, 6-speed manual monster with a 3-liter twin turbo V6 under the hood. You see, what we have here is a VR4 3000 GT. This thing was a 4-wheel drive, 320 horsepower, twin turbo 3-liter V6. It was way ahead of its time, but eventually got overshadowed by smaller, lighter vehicles like, you know, the Mitsubishi Evos, the Subarus, you know, the Imprezas, the STIs and shit like that. And you know, it just pretty much went uphill from there. Then car companies got the idea to just take a 4-cylinder, you know, sizes ranging from 1.8 liters to about 2.4 liters, right? We're going to forge the internals slightly, you know, forge rods, hyperretetic pistons, forge crank. We're going to add a turbo, right? Why would we do that? For good fuel economy and good top end power. The Infiniti G35 Coupe. The coupe and sedan are perfect starter vehicles. Yes, they do have a stigma around them. Oh, they're cars people use to slide and do drive-bys in. Oh, they just put straight pipes on them, put fart can exhaust and things like that. Listen, people do that when they don't know what to do with their car. You know, you could easily just go buy a Pro Charger or build your own turbo kit and make about 400 to 450 horsepower. There's so much more you can do rather than just straight piping and have it sound like a marching band at a high school. The G37 Coupe. Often these things have a salvage title, high mileage. Something's always wrong with it, but you can get these things from like $7,000 to $8,000. Too much for a vehicle that's been spent at a takeover all damn night. But what I will say is I would rather have a G37 Coupe versus a V6 Challenger. That is a 4,000-pound vehicle with a V6. To just make sense of what I'm saying. That is a terrible mix. Just get an Infiniti G37 or G35 if you can find one with a good title. But let's talk about newer sleepers, right? This is a Buick Regal GS. Makes 310 horsepower from a 3.6 liter V6. The ATS-V makes 410 horsepower from a 3.6 liter twin turbo V6. You have the 368 horsepower Kia Stinger. But let's just say you want to catch Mustangs off guard. You want to catch Camaro SS's and any other muscle car off guard. Pull up in one of these things right here. This thing makes 400 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque from a 3-liter twin turbo V6.